Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Yay! And then... Wait!
What does that do? Did that blow your mind?
That just happened.
This corner weighing in at 180 pounds.
Darkness, everybody!
You got a dirty whorish mouth.
Bunch of fucking amateurs. Am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong? Yeah.
Okay, then.
Hail to the king, David.
Yeah, fuck it, dude. Let's go bull.
You tell anyone about this, I'll fucking kill you. I'm kidding. We'll come back by tonight. Okay.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Kickstart with Matt. As you will hear by that pause, I'm flying solo tonight. Matt has decided that his Christmas obligations are more important than celebrating the great holiday of Festivus. So instead, we're going to enjoy a little bit of a tale from Frank Costanza. He's going to explain to us the story of Festivus.
Many Christmases ago, I went to buy a doll for my son. I reached for the last one they had, but so did another man. As I rained blows upon him, I realized there had to be another way. What happened to the doll? It was destroyed. But out of that, a new holiday was born. A Festivus for the rest of us.
When George was growing
Jerry,
up,
no.
his father hated all the commercial and religious aspects of Christmas, so he made up his own holiday.
Oh, and another piece of the puzzle falls into place.
All right.
And instead of a tree, didn't your father put up an aluminum pole?
Jerry, stop it.
And then weren't there feats of strength that always ended up with you crying?
I can't take it anymore. I'm going to work. You happy now?
Well, sir, I gave out the fake card because I don't really celebrate Christmas. I celebrate Festivus. Festivus. Sir. And I was afraid that I would be persecuted for my beliefs. They drove my family out of Bayside, sir.
Are you making all this up, too?
Oh, no, sir. Festivus is all too real, and I could prove it if I have to.
Yeah, you probably should.
Kramer, any word from the vest?
No. Listen, Harry, I need the 23rd off.
Hey, I hired you to work during the holidays. This is the holidays.
But it's Festivus.
What?
You know you're infringing on my right to celebrate new holidays.
That's not a right.
Well, it's going to be, because I'm going back on strike. Well, happy Festivus.
What is that? Is that the pole?
George, Festivus is your heritage. It's part of who you are.
That's why I hate it.
It's a big dinner Tuesday night at Frank's house. Everyone's invited.
Welcome, newcomers. The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it. And now, as Festivus rolls on, we come to the feats of strength.
Not the feats of strength.
This year, the honor goes to Mr. Kramer.
Oh, gee, Frank, I'm sorry. I gotta go. I have to work a double shift at H&H.
I thought you were on strike.
Yeah, well, I caved. I mean, I really had to use their bathroom. And Frank, no offense, but this holiday's a little out there.
Kramer, you can't go. Who's going to do the feats of strength?
How about George?
Good thinking, Cougar. Until you pin me, George, Festivus is not over.
Oh, please, somebody stop this.
Let's rumble!
Take him, Georgie.
Come on, be sensible.
Stop crying and fight your father. Ow! I got it! This is the best Festivus ever!
And that's it. That's the story of Festivus. That's how it all began. That is how it continues every year with the airing of grievances. So since Matt's not here, I can start off with my airing of grievances. My first grievance is against Matt because he's not here. As you may or may not have noticed, last week we were also not here for the show. I was contemplating doing a show, but ended up deciding that we would just put it off until today. Matt was not in the state. He was not even on this side of the country. So he's been flying around for the holidays and all that good stuff. So hopefully we'll be back in the studio together, reunited once again next Tuesday. Until then, I will do a brief version of the show, so you won't have to listen to my drolling on. So I suppose we'll kick into some weird news here, and I'll do a couple stories for you.
Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jewish God! Help me, Allah! Ah!
Weird news. Weird news on the Kickstarter net.
Help me, Tom Cruise! Tom Cruise used to wish their homie to get the fire off me! Oh, help me, Oprah Winfrey! Ah!
A tarantula enjoys a fine chewing gum. The human torch is denied a bank loan. The arsonist has button shit.
And now this week's weird news.
All right, our first story happens to be from the very keystone state that I'm presently sitting in. A Pennsylvania man is in the joint for allegedly smoking one inside a police station. That's right, Carl Higgs, 33, was arrested on Sunday morning after he allegedly walked into the Upper Darby, Pennsylvania police station, sat on a bench, and started smoking a joint. He started puffing away, Upper Darby Superintendent Michael Chinwood told Philly.com. Higgs was put in a jail cell where he allegedly took off his pants, defecated on the floor, smeared the feces around the cell walls. Higgs was taken to a mental health facility for an evaluation where it was determined he was high on unspecified drugs. Higgs is charged with disorderly conduct, public drunkenness, marijuana possession, and possession of drug paraphernalia. So that's the end of that story of a man shitting on the floor and smearing around the walls of a jail cell. Here's a one that you never thought you'd hear, but man's best friend, unfortunately, has not really lived up to its name. So stop trying to teach your old dogs new tricks and teach yourself some goddamn gun safety. A Wyoming man is recovering in the hospital after a dog accidentally shot him. In a phone interview on Thursday, Johnson County Sheriff Steve Kozek confirmed that Richard L. Phipps, the dog can't do any flips, 46, was hospitalized Monday after his dog stepped on a loaded rifle in the bed of his pickup truck and accidentally fired it. The rifle safety was off, Kozek said. According to Bighorn Mountain Radio, Phipps was removing snow chains from his truck when he was shot in the left arm. The rifle was loaded and in the bed of the truck with some other gear, and the dog hopped up then and either stepped on it or caused something to move and set it off. Phipps transported to Sheridan Memorial Hospital via ambulance. His condition was not released, but his injuries were not life-threatening, according to the Bighorn Mountain Radio. So that's it. Keep your dogs away from your guns. Keep your guns away from your dogs. And certainly when you're walking around, especially if it's cold outside, because, you know, if they're cold or if you're cold, they're cold. So keep them inside. Keep them in the cab of your truck. A few 2 weeks ago, actually, our last show, we did the story about the Furries convention that was having a gas leak of some sort. So they have a little bit of a statement here. It's frequently said that it's only human nature to fear the unknown, to assume the worst of the unfamiliar. Perhaps no group of people is more familiar with this than a furry community. For most in the general public, their knowledge of furries, individuals who share an interest in fictional animal characters that walk and talk like humans, stems from a 2001 Vanity Fair article, a 2001 episode of MTV's Sex 2K, or a 2003 episode of CSI, all of which presented the community as sex-focused subculture, a sort of fetish community. But furry enthusiasts say those media portrayals have told a misleading story about furry fandom, focusing on extreme behaviors of some members of the community while ignoring more mundane, less sensational events. Last week, furries were back in the headlines when 19 people were taken to the hospital due to a chlorine gas leak. at Midwest Furry Fest, an annual Chicago area furry convention that attracts thousands of participants. Photos of participants where full body suits ran as one of Chicago's area's biggest local stories, and an incident picked up the national coverage as well. Though most of the coverage was relatively straightforward, MSNBC host Mika Brzezinski was the subject of more headlines when she burst into laughter and ran off the set after she apparently learned about furry fandom live on the air. So our next story here is very interesting. It happens in Berlin, Germany. A Berlin coffee business found stimulants it didn't expect in a shipment of unroasted coffee in Brazil. 33 kilos, which is nearly 73 pounds of cocaine. Police in Germany, they said Thursday that the employees at the coffee roasting business found a full bag of drugs the previous day when they opened a newly arrived container of coffee and contacted authorities. The delivery was shipped from Brazil to the German North Seaport of Bremenhaven on its way to Berlin. Police say in a statement they're investigating who was responsible and how the drugs ended up at the coffee business in the first place. So that's definitely a pick-me-up, but it's a little bit stronger, I guess, than a cup of joe, as they say. So let's see here. We've got, let's see, one more story for you here. We got a story coming out of, where are we at here? Great Britain, good old Merry England. A lot of guys would like to be Matthew McConaughey, but for a few months, Roy Curtis thought that he was. It happened in August 2012 when Curtis, who's 25, was in a car accident near his home in Redditch, Great Britain. He spent 6 days in a coma after suffering a brain hemorrhage in the crash. When Curtis came to, he was so dazed and confused that he was convinced he was Matthew McConaughey. That was a terrible, terrible plug. I cannot remember much, but I do know in my head, I thought I was Matthew McConaughey, he said, according to the Daily Mail. When I went to the toilet, I went to look in the mirror, and I was shocked because I didn't look like him. I didn't know what I was looking at, and slowly over time, it eventually clicked, and I thought, he's an actor. What am I on about? Still, there was times before his release in November that Curtis would be in the hospital wishing he could go back to making movies. I was convinced I was him. I had all his good looks as well. I know it was hopeful thinking, really, he said, according to the paper. It took a while before Curtis felt, in the words of Matthew McConaughey, all right, all right, all right. Besides, more terrible puns and references. Besides thinking he was McConaughey, something else strange occurred to Curtis in the accident's aftermath. He could suddenly speak French fluently. How the hell did that happen? Let's see. I don't remember coming around, but my family said one of the nurses was from Africa and spoke French, and I was having a conversation with her. He said, according to the Mirror, I was just casually chatting away about how I was feeling in this perfect French accent. My mom and dad were stunned when they got to the hospital, and the nurse asked them what side of the family was French. And then I was sitting there spouting a foreign language from my hospital bed, acting all French. It wasn't me at all. So Curtis left the hospital in November 2012, no longer thinking he was a famous Hollywood actor, but still needing months of rehab. Even after his recovery, Curtis regained his health, and he retained the ability to speak French. How about that? Wouldn't you like to get knocked on the head and then all of a sudden be able to pass all your finals for your foreign language? That'd be great, wouldn't it? Now he's training to be a barber and trying to lead a normal life. Because I don't remember the crash, it doesn't feel like I've had a brain injury. Apart from obviously being able to now speak French, he said, according to the Telegraph, the accident changed my outlook on life. I can't leave the house without telling everyone I love them and giving them a hug. What a wonderful, wonderful story. That was touching. So that will be the brief weird news for this week. Today is Festivus, my dear friends. I hope all the listeners out there I don't think we have. Yeah, we don't have anybody live. I was waiting around for Matt to do the show, so we're on late. It's 10:30 today. Just to say the date as well. It's December the 23rd, 2014. This is also, I believe, the last podcast of the year. Let's see here. Oh no, we have one more. Next Tuesday is the 30th, so we will have another one this year. But this is Festivus, the Festivus for the rest of us, the greatest holiday that was ever created to divorce commercialism and religiosity from a otherwise joyous time of year. So enjoy the seasonably warm weather. Hopefully no snow for safe travels and everything around the main holiday. And to everybody, I wish you a happy Festivus. And King Diamond's going to take us out. By the way, this coming Saturday, which will be the 27th, at the Depot, Matt and I will be playing with our band Prince Diamond. We'll be doing a whole set of King Diamond covers and doing all kinds of fun stuff with Witch Hazel, Wrath of Typhoon, Buzz Chopper, and Negative American, which is a band I'm not familiar with. But it should be a very good show. We'll have a blast, and hopefully we'll see you there. Show starts at 8, I believe. And I think last I heard we were just doing a $3 cover. We're trying to get it as low as possible so everybody can come, and you don't have to worry about, since everybody's going to be broke from the Christmas holiday. But so until next week, this is the Kickstart with Matt. And there's that resounding silence once again. King Diamond, take my mind off the pain, please. See you next week, everybody.
Mm-hmm.